Okay, an introduction to identifying your audience. This is where I'm going to have to get a little bit firm with you and tell you that this is the number one most important factor in succeeding on Teespring or any internet marketing for that matter, okay? You're going to need to expect to work for your profits. This isn't going to come easy, and if you're going to be lazy or muck around or do rubbish targeting, you're not going to get anywhere with this, okay? Like I've got here, just over 80% of Teespring campaigns fail, okay? This is mainly due to really poor rubbish targeting, okay? These people are just lazy. You could have a fantastic design that either you or your designer have done. You've got a great slogan, something that really appeals to people that people have critiqued, and everyone's telling you it's a great shirt, it's a great idea. You might be doing a trend that's going completely viral, but without identifying these passionate buyers and laser targeting this audience, you're going to fail. Okay, you may have limited success, but it won't happen again and again. And you really need to be able to mitigate your losses, not only in testing but in scaling these winning campaigns. Okay, so that we don't have any time to muck about and to do rubbish targeting. All right. So like I said, I need to be a bit firm with you here and tell you that this is not easy. This is the hard part. This is where you're going to put head down and bum up and really get to work. Because if you neglect to do this, not only are you leaving money on the table, but you're probably going to be losing money, all right, and wasting your time, and probably wasting my time and other people's time in the group and asking silly questions. All right, I don't mind helping out with people who want to do hard work and put in the hard yards to be able to identify their target market. I've got all the time in the world for you guys if you want to, but if you're not committed to really doing the hard work, doing the research, participating in forums, participating in blogs, being active on pages, finding out the particular terms that these people would use in a niche. For an example, I could give you the fishing niche. People in the fishing niche, for example, would say you got spooled. A big fish spooled him. A lot of you people probably don't know what that means. A lot of you probably will. Spooled, when you get spooled, is either the fish takes all your line, okay, and you're off your spool and you've been completely spooled, you run out of line, you lose a fish, or you get a bird's nest. There's another form of slang from the fishing niche, a bird's nest. A bird's nest is when the fish takes your line too quickly off your reel, or you've poorly wrapped the nylon onto your reel or the monobraid or whatever, and when it's coming off, when the fish is running, it all tangles up and it actually resembles a bird's nest, and that just gives you a quick example as to what I mean. All right, there's a lot of lingo and a lot of different slang in every single niche out there. All right, you need to be able to identify what they are, because that's going to help with targeting. That may help you change your design up a bit. It may force you to go back and change your tee, a little bit to cater more towards your audience. All right, this is also going to help you find interests and get a lot deeper with interests. What we're going to do, I'll just move on to the next screen here, is we're going to be using Facebook Audience Insights. That'll be the last video in this particular section, but we need to go over the other videos first to be able to better identify what we're looking at. During this I'll be giving you examples of how I take my findings in Google Forms, blogs, Amazon, eBay websites, and list them all out in an Excel spreadsheet. And then we'll jump into Audience Insights, all right? We'll have a really good look at how I pick out the good ones from the bad ones. We'll see which ones are targetable. I mean, there's not every interest that you find online or every term or phrase is going to be targetable, obviously, but we need to be able to get as many as we can to build that tight, passionate audience, but with as many numbers in that audience as we can. We want to get a good amount, especially if we're going to scale this. Now, forums, for example, are fantastic places to go. Not only does this cover the last point on here, websites, but forums and websites are just absolutely huge. Okay, now I'm going to probably use the This Girl Loves Metal example again. All right, I did that in my book. All of you who read that book will know that campaign. Getting back to the forums and the websites, I'm going to try and identify the top 20 websites and forums related to heavy metal. Okay, not only am I going to see if those particular forums and websites come up in a Facebook interest, if I can actually target those as an interest, but I'm going to go through those forums, I'm going to go through those websites. I may even participate in some of the forums and just have a look around, have a poke around, sign up for a couple of them, and I'm going to see what people are talking about, what kind of brands they're talking about, what kind of gigs are coming up. Because it's a girl, this girl loves her metal. I'm going to be looking for any girls in that forum, any females, all right? And then I'm going to be going and looking through their posts, their public posts. What have they been posting in the forum? What do they like? What do they love? I guarantee you I'm going to find information out of there. I'm going to be putting it into Excel. I'm going to fast forward a lot of it, obviously. I don't want to bore you with 3 hours worth of my research, but I will be showing you how I'm doing it, what I'm doing, and then I'll skip that video forward. Once I've got all my results, and like I said, we'll take it into Facebook Audience Insights, and we'll go from there. The next one is blogs. I guess this kind of ties into the last subject of forums and websites, but blogs. They're more sort of tightly related, maybe a micro niche, or something a bit tighter around that niche. So we will find some good articles. The most popular articles, I'm going to show you how to find the most sort of popular articles, the most read articles, and we'll find some more gems in those articles, no doubt. And also, again, those could be targetable websites. If they're big enough, if they're a big enough blog, and they've got enough activity, could very, very well not only lead us to some other Facebook pages and groups that we can target, but they may be targetable themselves in Facebook, okay? Amazon, huge one. Books, any really popular books in the heavy metal niche, especially that could be written about female rockers, female producers, females in the record industry that are heavily involved with heavy metal, or hard rock. They're going to be perfect. Once we find them, we find the authors. And we'll see if those authors are writing about the same topics and heavy metal or rock in all of their titles, then boom, we've got a perfect target there. We can see if they're targetable in Facebook as well. And products, Amazon and eBay. We're going to see if there's any particular products out there that are targeted towards female rockers, female guitarists, female drummers, bass guitarists, vocalists, keyboardists, whatever. We're going to see if we can find something, okay? If they're big enough, obviously we'll go after those brands as targeting as well. If it's tight enough, I'm not going to target, Gibson, the Les Paul, because not everybody who plays a Gibson Les Paul likes heavy metal. There's a lot of blues guitarists and classical guitarists, and you know what I mean. But it will give us a very good insight as to what sort of brands we can look at. For example, guitar strings, the pickups on the guitar, Floyd Rose whammy bar. A lot of you probably won't even know what a Floyd Rose is, but if you go and Google that, you'll see that is something very specific to a guitarist. Even types of tuning pegs on the guitar, the type of bridge, the type of cable that they're going to run, the types of preamps, the types of amplifiers, the types of stomp pedals. These are things that the general public aren't really going to know about. If I think that they're too sort of broad, like I'm not going to target Ibanez, even though Ibanez is a fantastic brand. I own an Ibanez. There's a lot of people out there who are they just sort of like their metal. They're sort of touch and go, and they're just sort of likers, and it's a bit too broad for me. And like I said, Ibanez doesn't really identify with heavy metal as much as say like a Dean Razorback guitar would be. Now I know a lot of this is sort of foreign lingo to you guys. So obviously I like my heavy metal. I like my music. I know a lot about guitars. I play guitars, so I am sorry if I'm confusing you here a little bit with all this lingo, but you can see what I mean. I can become an expert in any field if I just put my head down and my butt up and just start studying, okay? If I just I just turn off my Facebook, I turn off my phone, I'll sit here and I'll study, and then I'll be able to talk to anybody. Okay, I'll sound like an expert. Like if I want to go and talk about pianos, I know nothing about pianos, but you give me 3 hours, I'm going to know everything there is to know about pianos, apart from playing the damn things, So it's something you really, really need to focus on. I can't stress that firmly enough, all right? If you fail in this aspect, if you get lazy, this is not for you, all right? This is where you're going to make your money. This is make or break, all right? This is the deal breaker. Don't muck around, all right? Spend your time on this. And if you think you haven't spent enough time or you haven't done enough work, then you probably haven't. All right, I want you going and going, coffee after coffee, tea after tea, whatever your vice is, sit down and just sweat it out, okay? This is going to put you miles ahead of the competition. There are a lot of people now on Teespring. There's a lot of people who are going to be taking this course. There's a lot of people who bought my book. Over 2,500 copies of this book have already sold, okay? Like I said, a lot of them fail. A lot of them suck at targeting. Okay, so you guys are going to need to be the ones that succeed. All right, I don't want any of you failing. I don't want any of you losing money, and I don't want any of you to be lazy. All right, there are obviously campaigns that I run that fail. Okay, I've done all the work I could. I got the best designs I could. I researched and researched, but people just weren't into it. You know, people just didn't want to buy T-shirts or hoodies or tank tops for that particular campaign, and I pulled it. Some things I still can't figure out for the life of me. I don't know why there's somewhere got tons of likes, tons of shares, just tons of engagement on an ad, but they sold a couple, you know, and I started to lose money. I just pulled it. That'll happen, all right? You know, don't let that get you down. As long as you put in 100% and did as much research as you possibly could, then you can just sit back and say, well, I don't know what happened. No one's really going to know what happened unless you go and ask every single one of those people that were in that post, why didn't you buy? You know, sometimes it's worth it. I mean, if you really think that you're onto a winner and nobody else is in that niche, I'd probably suggest getting a VA or two and just going and asking every single one of those people that commented why they didn't buy. All right, it might upset a few people, but you know, there's no love lost there. Don't lose sleep over it. You know, you really want to find out why they didn't sell, but it happens. Okay, I'm not saying a lot, but I do have quite a few that fail. All right, and I've done hard work, but at the end of the day, my success rate just keeps getting better and better and better every single time I improve my targeting, and I spend more and more time on my targeting. Right, there's nothing more in the world that I want to do than just launch a shirt. All right, I know. You've got your design, you've got your shirt, it looks awesome. You're like, okay, I'm going to sell this now, I'm going to make thousands of dollars. Don't do it, all right? Don't rush into it. Everything takes time. Good things take time. And you really need to just put all your heart and soul into the research, all right? The rest of it's fun. It's easy. This is the part that kind of sucks. And I know a lot of you you didn't want to hear this, but it's hard work, all right? Selling T-shirts online ain't easy. The name gigs were easy. The age gigs were easy. You know, relaunching your shirt and scaling a little bit is easy, but getting in there and testing it and seeing if it's going to be a profitable campaign and really putting in the hard yards now is not easy. All right, so get that into your heads. Prepare yourselves. It's going to be a lot of hard work here. All right, it's not difficult work, but it's hard. You got to do a lot of work. All right, write things down, document them, and just grow and grow and grow and grow and grow. You know, you'll be surprised as to how big you can fill your spreadsheets up just for one particular campaign. But look, guys, at the end of the day, it's worth it. You know, if you really crack your audience, if you find a winning shirt, a winning logo, and get your audience right, seriously, you could be making thousands and thousands of dollars. All right, why wouldn't you want to do this work? Okay, you know, for like 3 or 4 hours of solid targeting, maybe more, you're going to be making thousands of dollars off a shirt. You know, you're selling a T-shirt or a hoodie online, and this is relaunchable. You know, so there's a potential to make thousands of dollars, tens of thousands come off some big campaigns. You know, so you could be into a big niche and hit the audience right. You could be making tens of thousands of dollars. You never know until you start getting in there and trying it, but you're not going to get there without doing the proper research first. Okay, so let's jump into it.